Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. So, as we know, the NBA is going to have 8 regular season games before they jump into the playoffs. And then whoever's the eighth and ninth seed, they'll battle out for the last spot in the playoffs, with the eighth seed only having to win one game and the ninth seed having to win 2 games in a row. And then that's all only if they're under if they're four or under from the eighth seed spot, which I feel like will be the case. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how they come up with the schedules with 8 regular season games left. In my opinion, what I would do is I would do the first the first 8 games that the teams were going to play before the season got suspended. I feel they should do that, and then if there's like 2 teams that are not going to be Orlando, they just go down 2 more spots and see if those 2 teams are eligible to play, and so forth. So to start off, let's start with Milwaukee. So their first 8. Well, it wasn't originally their first 8, but now with some teams not coming and stuff. Their first 8 would be Boston, Miami, Memphis, Washington, Houston, Dallas, Toronto, and Philly. Now, Toronto, they have twice on the schedule within that span, but I feel like what they're going to do is they're not going to have the same teams play twice unless that's their only option, because a lot of their other teams on their schedule previously are not going to be there, which that may be the case every once in a while, but I don't think they're going to have the same teams playing twice. Might as well not. So that's why Phil would be in there instead of Toronto. But so based off that, I feel like Milwaukee would kind of I feel like they would struggle the first 2 games and then kind of get the ground going before maybe slipping against Toronto or Philly. So I have them going 6-3, but they would obviously still keep their first spot in the East, and I'll still have them with the best overall record in the NBA. So they move on to Toronto at 46-18, while Milwaukee's 53-12. So as you can see, they're not going to catch up. But Toronto, I have Philly, Boston, Denver, Lakers, Memphis, Milwaukee, Houston, and Washington. Now that's going to be a very tough schedule for them. So it wouldn't surprise me if they go 5-4, but I'm going to have them go 6-3, which means they'll be able to keep that second spot, because Boston's schedule will be easier, and I feel like they're going to come out of the gate better. So Toronto, if they don't win at least 5 games, they're not going to be able to keep that second spot. But anyways, so then Boston, I have third. So yeah, Milwaukee there, and then Washington, Toronto, Brooklyn, Memphis, Portland, Miami, Orlando. So a little bit tough game, not too much. I feel like Boston will be able to do just fine here. Actually, I'm going 7-1. I have them just kind of clicking out the gate. So I have them barely getting the third seed, barely missing on the second one. So then Miami, I have them as a fourth seed still remaining. So they face Milwaukee, Indiana, Oklahoma City, Denver, Phoenix, Boston, Toronto. And then Boston, Indiana, they both have twice, because there's only 7 spots right now. So that means one of the teams that they were gonna play twice, they're gonna have to. So now they have to choose. It's gonna be Indiana or Boston. I'd probably do Indiana, but I'm not sure. You never know. So, but anyways, I would have Miami based off that. Assuming it's Indiana, I have them going 6-3 because I have them struggling against Boston and Milwaukee, but then they should do good against everyone else. And then Indiana, 39-26. I have them going 2-6. They were kind of, they started off the season pretty well, but they're kind of struggling towards the end of the finish line. I feel like they're not gonna do well to start the gate, because I feel like the other teams, their talent's going to show more, and Indiana's just going to kind of be not as all in per se. So I have them going just 2-6 in their 8 games. They would play Philly, Miami, Phoenix, Orlando, Houston, Sacramento, Clippers, and Lakers. So like Sacramento and Orlando, they can get some games, but the other games would be pretty hard. So then Philadelphia would be the next one. They face Indiana, Washington, Toronto, Phoenix, Portland, Houston, Orlando, Milwaukee. So I have them kind of going in at 5-4, because since Philadelphia won't be at home, I'm not sure. And with both Embiid and Simmons coming off from injury, I'm not sure how they're going to be. So I'm to kind of average. But also that means I have Philadelphia jumping Indiana for that 5th seed spot, so they don't have to face Boston in the first round. And 17, Brooklyn. So I have them Clippers, Sacramento, Washington, Boston, Orlando, Clippers again, and then Portland, Indiana. So I don't really have them doing well with that schedule. So I have them going just 1-7. But with them, I mean, It's but for them though, I still don't have them fall into the eighth spot though because the next team spot Orlando, I have them going just 1-7 as well. I don't have them doing well either. So Brooklyn, even though they both would have 31 wins, Brooklyn has a few losses. They have a better winning percentage. So with Orlando, they have Sacramento, Brooklyn, Indiana, New Orleans, Boston, Philly, Toronto, and then again they would have to choose between Boston, Indiana, and Brooklyn because they were each on the schedule twice. But yeah, just 1-7. I don't have them doing well. They were like Indiana per se, and they're kind of struggling towards the end of the gate, so I don't see them doing that well. And then Washington, right now Washington's currently six games back basically from Orlando, so they have to like do really well. So they would have to win at least 3 games in order to have a shot to do that playing game. So their schedule is Boston, Oklahoma City, Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston, Phoenix, and LA Lakers. So Lakers, Boston, Milwaukee, um, and they have to play Boston twice, and Oklahoma and Philly, and I feel like will be losses. So that means they have to take care of business against Phoenix, which they could. That means they have to take care of business against Brooklyn, which they can, and then the big one is can they upset um, Oklahoma City to get that third win to get them in the contention. I feel like they can. So therefore, when it's all said and done, Washington would be 4 games back, and then they will face Orlando for that playing spot. And I feel like Washington would can win the first game, but as far as 2 games in a row, I feel like Orlando will hang on for that A spot just because Washington they're all offense, no defense, and Orlando's defense. So if Washington's struggling offensively, then Orlando could take advantage and win. But that would be an interesting playing series. So now going on to the West. Lakers 49-14. They have Houston, Denver, Utah, Toronto, Washington, Indiana, Sacramento, Oklahoma City. So I have them going 7-1 in those 8 games. I feel like they can easily slip up against a team like Utah or Houston or Toronto, but like I feel like they should do pretty well coming off the gate, especially with LeBron and his rest that he got. And then the Clippers, I had them going pretty well to start the gate too. They have Brooklyn, New Orleans, Dallas, Denver, Phoenix, Indiana, Sacramento, Oklahoma City. So they should do pretty well as well. But I feel like they will still try to manage Kawhi Leonard sometimes, and maybe even other plays, even though they got all this rest. Especially if some of these games are back to back, which I feel like they probably will be. So that's why I feel like they won't go complete 8-0 or 7-1, but 6-2 is pretty good still. So we secure this second seed. Um, Denver, they would have to go undefeated in this 8 games order to go above the Clippers for the second seed, which I don't feel like they will. So you have San Antonio, Lakers, Clippers, Oklahoma City, Toronto, Miami, Utah, Memphis. So I feel like they have the harder path than the Clippers do, falling down to the third seed. So that's why I have Denver maintaining the third seed instead of jumping up. I have them going 6-2, which is not bad for that schedule. And then Utah, I have them. They have Oklahoma City, New Orleans, Memphis, Lakers, San Antonio, Dallas, Portland, Denver. So again, kind of average, not bad. I had them going 4-4. Um, I feel like um, I feel like they're just going to kind of struggle with rotation to Kogi because they're not going to have Bohan and stuff like this. So it's going to kind of take them a while to figure things out. Oklahoma City at 40-24. They have Utah, Washington, Memphis, Denver, Miami, Phoenix, Clippers, Lakers. They have a very hard schedule. So in my mind, they're only going to go 2-6 in that. Which means for teams that Houston and Dallas are under them, they have a chance to climb above Oklahoma City. So Houston at 40 with the same exact record as Oklahoma City. They have Lakers, Portland, Sacramento, Dallas, Milwaukee, Indiana, Philly, Toronto. So they have a tough schedule. But I feel them winning at least half of those. They would go 4-4, which means they would jump Oklahoma City. And then for Dallas, 40-27, I have them facing Phoenix, Clippers, Sacramento, Portland, Phoenix again, Houston, Utah, Milwaukee. So I would have them going 5-3, and then that alone would be able to jump them up ahead of Oklahoma City. And then also then Houston and Dallas would be tied basically for the 5th seed, if you will. And then since I have Dallas beating Houston within these 8 games because they would face each other, that's basically the tiebreaker basically. So I'd have Dallas being that 5th seed, Houston being 6th, and then Oklahoma City falling down to the 7th seed. And then 8th seed Memphis at 32-33. You have Portland, Utah, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Milwaukee, New Orleans, Boston, Toronto. So I would have them going basically 2-6. In that they can sneak up. They can easily beat San Antonio now, and then they can maybe get an upset with like Portland or Oklahoma City. But I feel like they're not going to beat the other teams. So then Portland 29-37. So they have Memphis, Houston, Dallas, Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, Utah, Denver. So they have a pretty tough schedule, but they're going to be as healthy as they have ever been. They're going to be pretty good. So I have them going 5-3 in that, which is pretty good. And then New Orleans at 28-36, one game behind. They have Sacramento, Utah, Clippers, San Antonio, Memphis, Orlando, Washington, Phoenix. So they have a much easier schedule, which that was the case before the season, and now it should be still the case here. So I have them going 6-2 because I feel like they won't beat the Clippers, and they'll probably slip up against a Utah or something like that. But they can easily defeat all the other teams on their schedule. Um, and then Sacramento at 28-36 as well. They have New Orleans, Brooklyn, Dallas, Houston, Orlando, Indiana, San Antonio, Clippers. So I've been going just 1-7 that, which means they're not going to catch up and potentially get that ninth seed spot. So I feel like their season's over. And then San Antonio at 27-36. You already know how I feel. I mean, they can maybe get a win against Sacramento, but other than that, they're not going to beat all the other teams, which have Denver, Memphis, New Orleans, Utah, Houston, and Philly. So I just don't have them winning that. And then Phoenix at 26-39. I had them going complete 0-8. I don't have them winning a game. They shouldn't be there in the first place, in my opinion. They should have been 20 instead of 22 teams. But oh well. So they have Dallas, Clippers, Indiana, Washington, Philly, Miami, Oklahoma City, New Orleans. I just don't feel like they're going to win a game there. So then going back, so yeah, I have Portland and New Orleans both basically around the same record as Memphis. So Memphis, I have them keeping their A spot for now. But so Portland and New Orleans basically be tied, but I because New Orleans has because Portland has an extra loss, unlike New Orleans does, even though they'll have the same amount of wins. That's why New Orleans would get the edge, and they would get the nice over Portland. I mean, plus Portland, I mean, owners and stuff, their owner, they voted no for the restart when all the other teams did. So I mean, I'm not sure how much they want to be there anyways, but I mean, I feel while Portland is definitely a better team, no game, I feel like New Orleans with their easy schedule that would get them the advantage. So they would be a ninth seed over Memphis as an 8 seed, and Memphis will be like one game ahead, so they would definitely have a playing game here. And again, I'm not sure if New Orleans can win 2 in a row, but I'm going to go ahead and have them winning 2 in a row to steal that A spot for the Memphis, just because we need that excitement. We need something exciting. Otherwise, it's just going to be same old, same old. So based off that, you're going to have, again, to repeat, you have in the West, you have Lakers 1, Clippers 2, Nuggets 3, Jazz 4, Mavs 5, Rockets 6, Thunder 7, and then New Orleans 8. And then in the East, you have Milwaukee 1, Toronto 2, Boston 3, Miami 4, Philadelphia 5, Indiana 6, Brooklyn 7, Orlando 8. So now go off my playoff predictions real quick. So Milwaukee, Orlando, that stays the same. Milwaukee sweeps. Toronto, Brooklyn, that stays the same. Toronto 5. Now Boston, Indiana. I don't feel like Boston will sweep Indiana like they did last year, but it'll be pretty easy. So I have Boston winning in 5. And then Miami versus Philly, this will be a very interesting series. But because, again, Philadelphia's not on the road, and Jimmy Butler's not on the team's on the opposite side, he knows Philly very well. I feel like that's going to be an advantage for Miami. I have them winning in 6 games. So then Milwaukee, Miami would be the second round, which that was the same as before. Still Milwaukee in 6, Toronto, Boston. I still have Toronto 7. So you have Milwaukee and Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I have Milwaukee winning in 5. And then the West, you have Lakers versus just New Orleans this time. Now this would be a very interesting first round series versus Lakers and Memphis. Now, I have Lakers winning in 5 games, which sounds like it'd be pretty easy. But trust me, 4 of those 5, if not all 5, they're going to be really tough games for Lakers, and it's going to be coming down right to the wire for those games. So don't let the Lakers in 5 deceive you. It'll be a good series. And then Clippers and Oklahoma City. So this is much better for Dallas and less better for Oklahoma City. But Oklahoma City didn't really have shot, in my opinion, anyway. So the Clippers in 5, maybe Thunder win a game. Denver, Houston stays the same. I still have Houston 6 with their talent. And Utah versus Dallas. And this one I have Dallas in 7 because, again, Bogdanovic's not there with the Jazz. So Dallas can take advantage with their deep bench and low roster. So the Lakers and Dallas in the second round would be better than Lakers and Utah without Bohan. And this would be pretty interesting series. I have Lakers in 6. I feel like it'd be pretty good. And then Clippers versus Houston, I still have Clippers in 6. And then Lakers and Clippers, I still have Lakers in 7. And Milwaukee versus Lakers, I still have Lakers in 6 to win all. So the end result's basically still the same. But the way of getting there, it'll definitely take some twists and turns at the beginning, which will be pretty interesting. But I feel like it's still overall the same. So again, I still wish they would have preferred a different format, but this is the format. I mean, I'm excited. There's an NBA season again. I'm just looking forward to it. So thank you for listening to my show today. Please leave comments and please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about it. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day.